Great. Well, welcome everybody. I want to thank you all for attending today. I'm Michael Anderson. I'm the founder and CEO of Avro Cyber Defense. We're based in Winnipeg, and joined today by Luke Newdard from Arctic Wolf. Arctic Wolf is one of our strategic security partners. They're an MDR company based out of Minnesota. Luke's going to be chatting with us in a little bit about some of the things that they're seeing in cybersecurity. So great representation today. We've got some security business owners from across Canada. And our goal today is really three things. We want to talk to you about how cybersecurity is growing in importance and relevance, how businesses are going to be spending more money on cybersecurity in 2021 in particular, and thirdly, how you as a security provider can be part of that and leverage your established relationship with your clients, that position of trust, and extend your service offering into cybersecurity in the coming year, and how Avro can help you do that. So I think it's no secret that cybersecurity is kind of this hot button issue that people are talking about, and that the demand for cybersecurity services is growing. It's that time of year where there's end of year CEO surveys, and we're hearing that security threats, cyber threats, are growing in their severity and their prevalence, and that businesses are looking to do more about it in the coming year. A recent survey indicated that 55% of C-level executives agree that cybersecurity spending is going to increase this year. We know that the vast majority of Canadian organizations saw an increase in cybercrime. Ransomware in particular is continuing to be big business. I saw a recent report that the expectation is there will be a ransomware attack once every 11 seconds in 2021. Ransomware as a global industry is growing to $20 billion. So reality is that while your business today may be focused on protecting those physical assets that belong to the organization, there are some serious threats to their digital assets that can be big dollars and be expensive, both in reputation and goodwill, and in disruption to the business. We know that cybersecurity has been a key business service, but there's reasons why in 2020 the demand became even greater. And that, of course, has to do with COVID-19. So COVID has been the topic that we're talking about. It has really dictated our lives for the last year, and it had detrimental impact to a lot of businesses in terms of lost demand. It's changed the way that we're doing business. What we really saw in 2020 was a rush to remote work, and a lot of businesses that maybe didn't have a work from home setup or the technology to support it, all of a sudden were forced into a situation where they needed to find a solution. And so there was this mass rush to work from home. It's continued far longer than anyone expected. And we're now seeing that businesses are considering continuing a flex work policy or a remote from home policy, even post-pandemic. What that means is a lot of IT departments and a lot of businesses are trying to figure out, how do we secure this in 2021? And we've changed from this centralized office where all those employees are behind a firewall to now having people working from home, dealing with home routers and connections, and security needs to change to reflect that. 36% of organizations have dealt with a security incident due to an unsecured remote worker. So the reality is remote work requires stronger cybersecurity, and COVID-19 and remote work can actually be a catalyst for you to have cybersecurity conversations with your clients. Those personal devices are not as well defended as company devices on the network, and cyber criminals take advantage of confusion and chaos. We talk about the attack surface and how it's, again, we're looking at a distributed workforce, many points of entry into the company network, and the need for greater monitoring and oversight of those network interactions. So why are Canadian security companies not offering cybersecurity solutions today? Well, I think there's really three primary reasons. And we did a study of the websites of security companies across Canada and found that less than 1% are currently offering cybersecurity to their clients. And I think that makes sense. When you look at it, cybersecurity is complex and it requires a completely different skill set than the ones that you may have on your current team. Secondly, cybersecurity is this big topic. It covers everything from firewalls to antivirus to passwords. And I think, a simple search, you can get really technical and really complicated really quickly. It's kind of an alphabet soup of acronyms and technologies and tool sets. And it's really difficult to know where to even start. And I think many of you might be asking the question, aren't my clients' IT departments already doing this? And certainly there are pieces that they are already handling. And we'll talk about how our solutions complement what may be in place, but also the challenges that IT departments have today with the resources that they have effectively and adequately delivering cybersecurity in this changing landscape. Thirdly, just getting started requires a considerable investment in new solutions and highly skilled personnel. The idea of delivering 24/7 response, being able to deal with an ever-changing threat landscape and new threats, I think is a daunting proposition. So we want to talk today about how Avro can help your business get into cybersecurity without some of those upfront barriers and requirements. So what does Avro Cyber Defense do for you as a traditional security company? We deliver and manage a complete cybersecurity service that you can offer to your clients. This is a service line extension, and we let you do that without any upfront investment in people or tools, and to get you into cybersecurity immediately and offer that value-added service to your clients. We give you the cybersecurity solutions to protect your clients. We support you in the sale and marketing of those solutions so that you don't have to have that technical depth and knowledge base to actually sell the solutions. And we then deliver it on the back end for you. You become a comprehensive security service protecting both physical and digital assets without having to invest in new solutions or personnel. And this is simply a new service that you can bring to your clients, and Avro Cyber will deliver the rest in partnership with you. So I want to hand things over to Luke. Luke, as I mentioned, is with Arctic Wolf. Arctic Wolf is a premier managed detection and response company based in Minnesota. They have a security team of over 100 individuals out of their security operations center in Kitchener-Waterloo. That Canadian presence was a major reason why Avro sought them out. And Luke, I'm going to hand over to you to kind of chat about what you're seeing in cybersecurity today, and what are those challenges that are being faced by the clients of security companies, their IT departments, as they try to deal with the new reality of cyber attacks in 2021.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Michael. That's a great introduction. It sounds like we've got a number of security organizations that are joining us today virtually. It's a pleasure to be in front of you, especially during a pandemic time. So I appreciate you all tuning in and taking a look at our webinar together. We're here as resources. If you have any questions, please let Michael or I know. But I'll dive right in. And I'm actually located out of our Minnesota office, but I was recently up at Lake of the Woods. I didn't catch any fish, but I'm fairly certain it was because I was on the United States side of the border. But next time I'll move over. But well, I will jump in, and I appreciate Michael as you move through the slide deck. So the reason that cybersecurity the reason that cyber risk exists in the first place is that incidents keep happening, and we see in general, the industry has an effectiveness problem. Escalation and threat activity that we've been seeing during COVID and talent shortages across the market have really created a situation where, despite tons of products being available and tons of cybersecurity spend, our customers just aren't, our prospective customers just aren't getting the protection that they need. And to put a finer point on it, there are over 3,000 vendors selling products in this industry. Last year, there was $120 billion spent. I believe this year it's targeted $123 billion. Even with that, we saw over 4,000 breaches last year. And that's a 96% increase over the previous year. So moving on to the finding the right approach slide. Historically, we're going to take a look at a timeline and run through the security practices that may already be in place with your existing clients. So to answer Michael's question, aren't my clients' IT teams already doing this for them? The answer is they may be doing partial security programs. We'll take a look at the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, where we see a lot of basic perimeter security tools that are in place today. And then we'll move towards the shift of what we're seeing in reality here today. So like I said, historically, we started with some pretty basic tools like antivirus and firewalls in the threat landscape of the 80s and 90s. And at that time, that approach was very effective. But as attackers adapted and found ways to bypass those controls, we saw the market shift toward what we call next-gen tools. It really started with next-gen firewalls, and then at the end of that decade, we started seeing next-gen antivirus that was leveraging artificial intelligence, machine learning, and we even started seeing the emergence of some endpoint detection and response solutions as well. Moving into the 2010s, after all of those new tools had appeared, complexity became the key issue. And so to meet that challenge, we saw the market shift again, and this time it was all about consolidation. We began to see security platforms like Palo Alto Networks, Symantec, adding tools through acquisition. This adoption was only accelerated during the SaaS delivery models. Examples of this, if you're familiar with it, may look like CrowdStrike or Carbon Black. Both of them are EDR vendors. Today, even after we adopted all these new tools and we consolidated them into these cloud platforms, we still aren't getting the effectiveness that we need. And so now we're seeing the market shift again. And this new shift recognizes that tools alone are not going to solve the problem. And if we really want to get value from these existing tools, we need to ensure that they're being operated properly. So now the trend in the industry is to inject a human expertise into this process in an effort to bolster the tools that are already there with an operational component. The recognition of this approach came on the heels of some fairly severe data breaches in recent history. First, I want to take a look at the target breach. This should be very familiar for everyone, but what we found here is a situation where an advanced threat was detected by a security tool, but nobody at Target responded to that alert. As a result, the attacker went unnoticed and was able to proceed and ultimately accomplished all of their malicious objectives. In the case with Equifax, we saw that an attacker simply exploited a known vulnerability. This one will constantly haunt me. Virtually every vulnerability management tool on the market, free open source tools, any tool, was able to identify this vulnerability. And despite that fact that patch was available for over 2 months, Equifax simply didn't prioritize the fix. They didn't install the patch or action that. So there again, we saw a breakdown in the process. Finally, if we take a look at the Capital One breach, you see a simple cloud misconfiguration error. All cloud providers provide logging for this type of thing, and a number of products are available to identify these risks. But Capital One just didn't have sufficient monitoring in place or prioritization in place to identify the misconfiguration before it was exploited.
I think what's interesting to me here, Luke, is these aren't small organizations. These are large IT teams with a ton of resources, and even at that level, the reality is that there's things that either get missed or don't get done, and that IT teams are struggling to stay on top of this. We hear things about alert fatigue, that you may have these tools, but there's simply so much information pouring in that the expectation that someone on that IT team is going to properly identify an alert that's actionable to prevent these attacks. And if we scale that down to small or medium-sized businesses where that IT team is even more stretched in that they're handling all aspects of system deployments, handling help desk, doing all of those things, that the expectation that they're able to have the level of attentiveness on those security issues is really a struggle for them.
Exactly. And that brings up a great point of our client base. We have clients from one end user, one endpoint, all the way up to many thousands of endpoints. Cybersecurity is no longer only for these large organizations. And unfortunately, companies like Target, Capital One, Equifax have hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend on security every year. That's not unfortunate for them, but it's unfortunate for small to medium-sized organizations that may not be able to build out these robust operation centers that are truly needed today. So that's a niche that Arctic Wolf and Avro have really dug into, and I'm really excited to grow this partnership and work with many of your organizations here in the future. Moving on to the next slide, I think it is important to reiterate during all three of those breaches that we previously discussed, Arctic Wolf does not view those as product failures, but rather we view them as operational failures. And to prevent these kinds of breaches from happening in the future, we believe that the industry needs to adopt a new approach. And that approach is the operational approach to cybersecurity. So moving into that operational approach, what does that mean? So taking the operational approach means that we have these 5 pillars in place. And from our perspective, this is how you get that security effectiveness that you're looking for in today's threat landscape. So that first pillar, this is a recurring theme in the presentation, but having broad visibility. You can't protect what you can't see. And too many organizations have blind spots that result in them missing critical security events. These organizations, they don't have total visibility in their environment. In order to have total visibility, your security should span across endpoint, it should span across network, and it should span across the cloud. And better yet, all of that telemetry should be run through a cloud-driven engine, centralized. Those logs can be stored for compliance purposes, but they can also be analyzed to drive security outcomes in the future. I use an example for broad visibility as a lifeguard analogy. A lifeguard would not be very good at his or her job if they only monitored 1/3 of the pool. So moving into the second pillar, we have 24/7 coverage. And the moral here is that we can't take a day off because the bad guys are never going to take a day off. So we absolutely need to have 24/7 eyes on glass monitoring. And that talent shortage that we talked about previously is a major inhibitor to this. You simply can't operate without 24/7 coverage today. And partnering with Avro, you can get that 24/7 monitoring, threat detection, incident response, and the proactive risk management for a fraction of the cost of your client building out their own security operations center.
I think this will be relevant and really speak to those security business owners. It is interesting in that after hours seems to be the time for criminals, whether they're attacking a physical building or they're attacking a network. And I think I read recently that 35% of cyber attacks are initiated after hours. So, very similar to having that monitoring center that's maybe doing video surveillance or monitoring access to a building or providing guard service and alarm response. Those computer networks require that same level of 24/7 support.
Absolutely. I think that is a very critical component of our service. We are going to be able to alert on an activity, a threat, a known threat or an active threat at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday. The same as we were able to identify and notify on a threat at 3 a.m. on a Sunday. And being able to identify these threats before they turn into full-blown breaches is the key to managed detection and response.
Yeah, certainly when we're talking about things like ransomware that can gain a foothold in a network and start encrypting computers, seconds and minutes count. You don't need any delay when addressing an attack like that.
Absolutely. And I'm not sure if Michael plans on using this statistic later, so hopefully I don't pull out the rug from under him. But the industry average dwell time for an attacker to be in someone's network is 206 days. That means that they have 206 days to wait for that opportune time to strike on average. With Arctic Wolf, we've narrowed that down to a matter of minutes. Our SLAs, I believe, are 30 minutes. So that is exactly what Michael just said. Is we're looking at minutes and seconds. We're able to contain the host. We're able to contain the network to make sure that it doesn't just expand and become something worse than what it needs to be.
So you used a technical term there, Luke, that I'll call you out on. But dwell time is the amount of time that a threat is sitting on a network undetected, and at over 200 days, where that attacker's software can be gathering information on the network, understanding and improving their sophistication of their attack while remaining undetected. And we're looking to, with Arctic Wolf's assistance, shrink that amount of time from 200 plus days down to 30 minutes or less.
Exactly. And hopefully I don't use too many more technical terms, but feel free to call me out if I do. I appreciate you explaining that a little bit more. The third pillar that we talk about in the operational approach is our access to expertise. And we're seeing today that it is not only enough to have that eyes on glass. Because of that, we have dedicated teams of certified security professionals that work with Avro. And these team members become intimately familiar with your client's environment, and they work with Avro to deliver the outcome that your clients need. So our solution should enable your clients to consult with Avro on a variety of security-related topics. Your clients should be able to get quick answers to questions about any aspect of their security program. And the person that's giving those answers should be able to answer those with basically intimate knowledge of the network and not be a newbie per se, but they should really be able to provide a solution that works for their organization. And then that kind of rolls into our fourth pillar, strategic guidance. And we really believe security is a journey. We don't see it as a destination. And if we never step back from the tactical actions, like detection and response, we're never going to see the larger picture. We believe that we should learn from security incidents. We should consider what that means for the overall security program. Your clients should be continually reviewing their architecture with Avro configurations in an effort to minimize their attack surface that we talked about earlier, and to deploy proactive countermeasures to further harden their environment against any future attacks. And that really brings us into that last pillar of continuous improvement. With it being a journey, security should get stronger with your organization, and they should become more resilient over time. And this can really only happen if Avro and Arctic will put a strategy together and diligently benchmark our progress against it. So moving into essentially how our service is built, I think that it's important to talk about the Arctic Wolf Cloud platform. First, a very key differentiator is that we're able to leverage the existing technology stack that your client is using to gain that broad visibility across all your endpoints, your network, and your cloud. The differentiator for us here in the market is that being vendor agnostic, we're not going to require your clients to rip and replace any of their existing technology stack.
Yeah, I think that's really key. You know, as we talk about those end clients that these security companies are working with, we're very much looking to complement what's there. We understand that they've made selections on the different technologies that they have in place. They've probably standardized on firewalls and switches and antivirus. And the beauty of that Arctic Wolf platform is we're able to take information that is already there in the systems, whether that's logs from firewalls or logs from servers, and we're able to gather all of that information to create actionable intelligence. But there's nothing here where we're coming in and saying that, you know, this firewall needs to be changed or you need to change that technology. It's very much designed to complement what's in place and to leverage that into insights that help defend the network.
And that second stage in the platform, I think, ties a lot of this together, is that we're able to centralize all of the data in our cloud native security analytics platform for that storage that we talked about. We have log storage for compliance purposes. We're able to use that for data enrichment and analysis. So this helps with compliance, but it's also the foundation of our threat detection capabilities. As data is streaming in via our sensors, our scanners, our agents, we're able to enrich that with threat intelligence, and we're able to process it through an ever-increasing number of threat detection engines. So a key differentiator here for us is that our platform is designed to allow unlimited data ingestion. So we're not going to charge based on data volume, things that can change on a day-to-day, month-to-month basis, or what we call events per second, EPS. So this makes our pricing a lot more predictable, whereas other solutions can hit you with surprise bills, or they can force your clients to reduce the number of things they're actually monitoring. Then to tie it all together, at the top of the platform is the concierge security team. And these solutions are delivered by Avro and their concierge security team. So like I said earlier, we pair Avro with a team of security experts who not only monitor the data, but they're also learning about your clients' organizations and their unique requirements. They're learning so well that they can optimize our solution for maximum effectiveness in their environment. So a key differentiator here is that you're going to be able to have your clients working with Avro on the tactical day-to-day items, but in the background, they're also helping with the overall security strategy and ensuring that they're advancing along in that security journey. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Michael, and he's going to round out what that looks like as far as Avro goes.
That's great, Luke. Thank you so much. So I just want to take a little bit of a deeper dive on two of our core solutions that are backed by Arctic Wolf. Again, when we went looking at cybersecurity and what made sense for security companies, we looked for solutions that complement what's there with existing IT departments, and secondly, solutions that align with your existing brand and reputation as a security company. And that really led us towards the risk and monitoring components. So the two core products I want to talk about today are, number one, Avro Defend, and we say we're your network security guard. So this is a full managed detection and response, 24/7, eyes on that network, actively looking for threats and then containing them. This is a detect, respond, and recover, where we're looking for root cause, remediation, and truly protecting that network. So we take the idea of physical security monitoring and we extend that into the digital arena, and we become that security guard for your clients' networks. Interesting to note, 70% of new customer environments, we're finding latent threats. So as Luke referenced, those threats that are sitting there for hundreds of days undetected, we can validate that and say, yes, in 70% of those new client engagements, we're actually finding threats that are sitting on your clients' networks immediately day one. Second product here is Avro Fortify. So this is where we're doing ongoing vulnerability scanning. So where you may do physical security assessments and look at access into buildings, into yards, etc., and point out risks or gaps, we're doing the same thing from a network perspective. So this is where we're looking at common and known vulnerabilities, identifying those for the IT team at your clients, and putting forward recommended remediations. And this is on an ongoing basis. And really, this is a key way where businesses can demonstrate that due care and due diligence and the protection of their clients' data. And again, not changing anything within the technology that's in place at the business, but acting as that advisor and really that risk management piece around cybersecurity. Two other offerings that I want to speak to today. The first is Avro Aware. So this is cybersecurity awareness training. And as many tools and solutions as we can put in place, the reality is that best defense is sitting at the desk. It's that human firewall. It's that employee that's making a decision when they're looking at an email, whether they're going to click that link or whether something looks a little off. So Avro Aware gives us the ability to do that awareness training and to up that security savvy sense in your employees. So with Avro Aware, we're putting out simulated phishing attacks on a regular basis. We have Canadian email templates from Amazon Canada, from TELUS, Bank of Montreal, Canadian Revenue Agency, things that will make sense to your employees. We're then able to see whether they take the bait and they click on those phishing emails with full reporting back to management. And then most importantly, we're able to deliver training to help them identify red flags on emails so that they handle that next email differently. This gives us an opportunity to then benchmark that baseline phish-prone level of the organization and show management how that decreases over time with training and repeated testing. Everything I've seen has indicated that this is a high growth area for 2021. As employees have moved home, many organizations are interested in delivering cybersecurity awareness training to their staff, and this is a great opportunity for you as a security provider to deliver that out to your clients. Lastly is Avro Test. So this is external vulnerability testing, more commonly known as penetration testing, where we have a team that will actually attempt to gain access to a network. under an authorized attack, and then demonstrate that proof of entry along with recommendations for remediation. So between these solutions with Arctic Wolf as well as AbroAware and AbroTest, we're able to bring that full solution set to your clients day one. The Center for Internet Security speaks to 20 key security controls. Number 14 is actually deals with physical security and access, which is certainly the area that you're all involved in today. What I've outlined here is where Avro's solutions address those other key security controls and how you can extend your service offering and broader security coverage by engaging with Avro. So getting started is very straightforward. This is a complementary service that extends your service offering and delivers a recurring revenue stream to you without any upfront investment. We give you an opportunity to deliver a comprehensive security service to your clients right now. There are no upfront investment or partnership fees. You bring us the opportunities, we do the rest, and you benefit from a recurring commission revenue stream. We'd love to chat with you. We'd love to have a more detailed conversation on how you can partner with Avro Cyber Defense in 2021 to bring cybersecurity. Send an email to partner@avrocyber.com. I'll be sure to follow up with all of you after the call, and we can get started. Luke, thank you to you for joining us today and for your insights. We certainly look forward to continuing our partnership and bringing some great cybersecurity solutions to Canadian businesses and to those clients of these security companies in the year to come.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michael. And it's been terrific working with your team. I'm excited to meet some of our new partners together. So thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.